I've been sent 6 parcels from patrons across the galaxy, each containing a Space Marine sent by their chapter to take part in the inaugural Second Heads event this weekend. In this video, I'm going to have a bit of fun painting up some of my own Marines to add to the honor company. Then, tomorrow morning, I'll pack them up and head over to Cryptic Cabin for the event. So stand by for some footage of the weekend later on in the video. First up is this fantastic Rogue Trader Marine in Mark 6 armor of the beaky variety. I've decided to go for a quartered scheme using Avalon Sunset and the lovely rich Cantor Blue, taking care to divide the colors down the center of his Womble helm. Black Legion Contrast is a really good cheat for quickly layering on black without having to do any of the thinning down yourself. And after 2 coats, the color is blocked in. I carefully filled the visor of the beaky helm with Warp Lightning. I'm going for speed here, by the way. I have 3 Marines to paint in an afternoon. Any overspill was tidied up with a little bit of Avalon and some Cantor Blue on the other side. For some quick highlights on the armor, I mixed Hoeth Blue into the Cantor and hit the exposed parts of the armor, like the thighs and ceramite cricket pads. I also did the studs and the backs of his legs. Then back to the yellow, adding some Screaming Skull this time to the Uriel and Avalon mix. Yeah, this scheme is great, and I can't help daydreaming doing this across a whole fresh box of 20 RTB01 Marines. Imagine that. I added a subtle highlight of Corvus Black, hitting the exposed parts of the backpack and bolter. For the shiny bits, I used my current favorite metallic, Oily Steel, picking out interesting details on the Marine's bolter and pistol. Here I'm muting down some of the metal on the vents with Black Legion and then adding a more restrained highlight. After a dot of white to the lenses, it was time to draw things to a close and get a transfer on the Marine. A simple squad number would suffice, flattened with Microsol and deadened with a few layers of matte varnish. For the base, I wanted a color to offset the armor and chose Vallejo Angel Green, then mixed in some yellow for an overbrush to make it look quite mossy. Then a watery wash of Agrax to push it all together. We're about 2 hours in, and the first of my honor company is complete. Next up, we've got a Space Marine with Terminator honors from October 1989. I mixed Mephiston Red into the Cantor Blue until I had this bruised purple and applied a couple of thin coats. Again with the Black Legion, this time on the cabling as well as weapons and backpack. The purple highlights were simply achieved by mixing in a little Vallejo Cold White to the purple mix. And a final, more targeted highlight, just by adding more white. It's a pleasing colour, that. This chapter had sent me one of their best, a veteran, so I mixed up a medium grey using black and white. Then slowly highlighted it up by amping up the ratio of white, lightening the greys bit by bit. I then painted Corvus black on the raised black areas, and used my favourite oily steel on the buckle, medallion, and weapons. The Crux Terminatus on the pauldron was painted Xandri dust, and when that was dry, I washed it with Agrax Earthshade. And one blast with the hairdryer later, I painted over it with oily steel, except for the skull, which was highlighted with Screaming Skull. I painted over the metals with snakebite leather contrast for an ancient bronze effect. Then added a few shiny dots of steel to suggest where they're catching the light. I definitely should have done this before painting the helmet, but I went in carefully with Blood Angel's red contrast and painted the veteran Marine's lenses. I prepped his bare shoulder with microset and applied a suitable transfer. He was giving me strong Imperial Dune vibes, so I decided on a desert base and painted it Talon sand, then highlighted it with Screaming Skull. I used some Agrax Earthshade to line the bottom of the rocks to suggest places where the shade cast by the intense desert sun was being created. And after painting the brim black and matte varnishing, another Marine was on the ready line. This one is a chaplain sculpted by Mark Copplestone in 1988. I wanted to go for something completely different here, something between the ABC Warrior in Stallone's Judge Dredd or Omega Squadron in StarCraft. I mixed a little black into scorched brown that I had from the older Citadel range, then highlighted this with scorched brown. The backpack and weapons were again Black Legioned. And this time I remembered to do the lenses first. Always best to paint inside out, especially with fiddly bits like lenses. I painted his helmet, angel green with a little black added, then highlighted it up with increasing amounts of angel green. With time marching on, I painted all the metallic areas oily steel. Bronzed up the skull shoulder pads with snakebite leather, To match the dreary aspect of this Doom Trooper, I painted the base black, overbrushed it with layers of grey, then added a filter of Magos purple. That was a really fun afternoon of painting, and at the end I'm left with 3 distinct looking Marines. Let's add them to the rest of the Honor Company. With the Honor Company assembled, I arrived nice and early at Cryptic Cabin, and after setting up and a coffee, the inaugural Second Heads event was underway. KT's Space Wolves assaulted Orc Town, but were narrowly repulsed by Adrian's Orc defenders. Over on another table, two Dorking's Blood Angels and Shrieker's Sisters of Battle came to blows over who should have the honor of guarding the Honor Company's Thunderhawk. The Blood Angels' librarians smoked the Sisters off the landing pad with arcs of lightning, whilst the immobilized Land Raider disgorged its cargo in the center. Meanwhile, Swearwolf Salamanders clashed with Blast's Eldar pirates on the gantries and lethal alleys of a nearby industrial complex. Despite a valiant effort, the Salamanders were unable to slay the Eldar commander. Evinids then came to Katie's aid, combining both of their Space Wolf armies to launch an all-out assault upon Orc Town. Thundergit's mobs came to lend Warlord Adrian a hand, and a mighty scrap ensued. Engines revved, and the thunderous hooves of boar boys drummed along to the chant of "Here we go" that emitted from hundreds of orc throats. Meanwhile, a game of Space Crusade was played. Nikoho Doubter's Slaanesh Space Marines posed for a group photo op, and Shrieker showed off his lovely epic squat collection. The battle for Orctown raged on as both sides ripped into each other. Mork's foot came down heavily upon Katie's land speeder, blunting the Space Wolf assault. With so many Battle Brothers fallen, the Space Wolves had no choice other than to withdraw for the day. On the Sunday, we played two 3,000-point games as Imperial forces sought to wrest landing zones from Eldar and Traitor alike. Evinid's Space Wolves and two Dorking's Blood Angels encountered a combined Eldar force of Blast's pirates and Adrian's Beal Tan. After briefly discussing strategy, the game began with the clanking tread of two Dorking's Land Raider as it sped over the bridge, and hails of bolter shells and frag missiles rained down upon the spindly elves' positions, as the Space Wolves advanced stoically onto the landing zone, bolters spitting death. Meanwhile, Shrieker's Sisters of Battle checked their weapons and nervously awaited the arrival of the Servants of Chaos. The Eldar revealed themselves as aspect warriors flitted with blinding speed between cover, eager to drive off the hated Imperials. Chaos bikers swept out of the jungle towards the Sisters, and the trees parted, revealing an ancient and evil Land Raider. Soon the Servants of Slaanesh, led by a Keeper of Secrets no less, made their bid for the landing pad. Meanwhile, Imperial firepower lessened as Blast's swooping hawks took out three Longfangs with crack grenades. And Scouts and Scorpions engaged in deadly hand-to-hand as a certain brother captain was removed from space and time by a lucky D-cannon shot. Back in the sweltering jungle, Swearwolf Salamander Terminators counter-assaulted the warp spawn on the landing pad. As the battle raged, the Honor Company deployed, and squads of Marines from no less than 15 chapters came to their brother's aid. A big shout out to Shrieker, to Dorking, Katie, Nikoho Doubter, Adrian, Blast, Swearwolf, and Evinids for making Second Heads a reality. Props too to Adrian, Katie, and Nikoho Doubter for bringing along some excellent terrain. The amount of Dr. Spork terrain on display was certainly in evidence. And a huge thank you to Jason for generously giving up his time and lending the event his incredible scratch-built industrial zone. Jason drove up early on the Saturday to drop it off, and then collected it again on the Sunday, a true hobby hero. Thank you to those patrons who sent in Honor Company Marines. It was indeed an honor to command them in the final game, and on a more personal level, it is really special to receive a token of your support for the event. If and when this happens again, I can promise you these Marines will go on campaign once more. A shout out to Manhammer for his incredible Howling Griffin wielding the mighty Second Heads Company standard. Honestly, what a legend. I might have to change the logo of the channel to this design. It's that cool. Do check out his work and commission services on Instagram under the handle Buried Under Lead. Thank you to Charlie and the amazing team at Cryptic Cabin in Hannam. It's an amazing space with a thriving community of gamers. They were so accommodating. We were allowed to bring our own food, have pizza, and the coffee was amazing. I plan on heading back very soon. Obviously, none of this would have been possible without my amazing Patreon community. Patrons to the channel receive a monthly Minisodes podcast, early videos, and access to the Minisodes Discord, a lovely group of like-minded hobbyists with a love of 2nd edition 40k. Right, I'm going to go now and paint up some more Dark Angels. Thanks so much for watching, and happy hobbying.